Okay, so you're at the dog park, right? And it's something I've always kind of noticed,
Hmm.
like how some dogs just seem to pick things up,
Yeah,
like so quickly.
right.
You'll have like this little terrier over here, like bam, mastering, sit,
Yeah.
after just a couple treats.
Uh-huh.
And then there's that other dog, the one,
Yeah.
maybe Hound. It's kind of adorably goofy.
Oh, totally.
And they're still like, huh, after what feels like forever.
Right. It's like they're in their own world sometimes.
It really is. Have you noticed that too? Like just how different they are in learning.
Oh, absolutely. It's like one of those things you see every day, but it makes you think.
Yeah,
Like, what's actually going on in those furry little brains?
exactly. And that's exactly what we're diving into today.
I like it.
We're going deep on this one. We've been looking at all this really cool canine psychology research,
Awesome.
trying to understand why some dogs just get it when we teach them,
Yeah.
and others, well, they kind of take their sweet time.
It's a puzzle for sure.
It is. So we're moving past that whole smart versus not so smart thing. 'Cause it's way more nuanced than that, right?
Way more.
It's like with people, too. There's all kinds of smarts.
Exactly. And I think the first thing to get our heads around is that
Yeah.
when we talk about intelligence in dogs, we're not talking about one single thing.
Right. It's not like a test score.
No, not at all. It's so much more interesting than that.
Okay, so let's break that down a bit, because when we see that dog learning a trick super fast, that's not the whole picture of how smart they are.
No, it's just one little piece.
Got it.
There's this guy, Dr. Stanley Coren.
Okay.
His work is really helpful here. He talks about 3 types of dog intelligence.
3. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so first you've got instinctive intelligence.
Instinctive.
Like, it's built-in things they're basically programmed to do. A
Okay.
pointer pointing or a sheepdog herding, that kind of thing.
That makes sense.
Then there's adaptive intelligence. That's their problem-solving stuff.
Oh, like my friend's lab?
Yeah.
He figured out how to open the pantry door.
Haha, yep. That's adaptive intelligence in action.
He's got a knack for getting into the kibble.
Clearly. And then the third type, this is the one we're focusing on today. It's
Yeah.
called working and obedience intelligence.
Okay, so this is about how well they learn from us.
Exactly how quickly they pick up those commands and cues we give them.
So like when you see a Border Collie nail a new command in like 2 seconds,
Right.
and then your Basset Hound needs like a million tries.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's a classic example.
That's mainly this working intelligence at play.
Pretty much, yeah. And the difference can be wild.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Border Collies, they say they can learn a new command in less than 5 repetitions.
Wow.
But some hounds, you might need 80, even 100 repetitions.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
It is, but remember, just because that Border Collie is super quick with commands doesn't mean they're automatically smarter overall.
So why is that such an important distinction?
Because those brains of theirs, they evolved for different reasons,
Right, different breeds, different jobs.
Exactly. Think about those hounds, those beagles and bloodhounds.
Yeah, they were bred to sniff stuff out.
Exactly, to track scents over long distances, often on their own.
So they had to be independent.
Exactly. Their job was to follow their nose no matter what.
So even if you're yelling, come!
Yeah, basically. They might be so focused on that scent, they tune you out.
So basically, they're not being stubborn. They're just doing their job.
Pretty much, yeah. They're making decisions based on all this smell information.
That we can't even imagine.
Right. It's like a whole other world to them.
Fascinating. And then you've got your herding dogs, like the Border Collies.
Yep.
They were bred to work closely with people, right?
Super closely. They had to respond to all these little cues.
To manage the sheep.
Right. Visual cues, auditory cues, you name it.
And their survival basically depended on being quick and responsive.
Exactly. They had to be in sync with their human partner.
So it's not just that a Border Collie is smart. Their brains are literally wired for that kind of learning.
Totally wired. Is it what they were bred to do?
Okay, so this is blowing my mind a little bit.
Uh-huh. I know, right?
Like, a dog's breed isn't just how they look.
Nope.
It affects how they learn.
Absolutely. It shapes what comes naturally to them.
It's not just a one-size-fits-all intelligence score.
Not at all.
So that beagle who's taking his sweet time learning,
Yeah.
you could be a total genius at sniffing out things.
Exactly. He might be a scent-detecting superstar.
We just don't see it because we're focused on obedience.
Right. We're judging them by our own human standards.
So it's about appreciating all those different cognitive strengths.
I love that. Yeah. It's about understanding their unique talents.
So beyond what they're born with, What else plays a big role in how quickly a dog learns?
So a huge factor is their early life experiences.
Oh, yeah, like when they're puppies.
Exactly.
What?
Especially that first 16 weeks.
16 weeks. That's not a lot of time.
I know, right? But it's a super critical period for their brain development.
What makes those first few months so crucial?
Their brains are like sponges at that age.
Soaking everything up.
Yeah, they're growing and making all these new connections super fast.
So the more they're exposed to, the better.
Exactly. Different environments, I'm telling people, challenges.
It's like building a strong foundation.
You got it. Think of it like creating all these pathways in their brains.
For information to travel on.
Yes. And the more diverse those pathways, the better they can learn and adapt later on.
So a puppy who's kept in a really boring, predictable environment might not develop the same mental agility
Right. They might miss out on those crucial learning opportunities.
compared to a puppy who's exploring all kinds of new things.
Exactly. And there's actually research to back this up.
Really?
Yeah, there was a study at the University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
They looked at puppies between 8 and 12 weeks old, and they found that the puppies who got what they called environmental enrichment,
What's that?
stuff like new toys, different surfaces to walk on,
Oh, okay.
and little problem-solving tasks, keeping them engaged.
So basically giving them lots of mental stimulation.
Exactly. And guess what? Those puppies ended up being faster learners as adults.
Wow. So it's like a head start.
Totally. Compared to the puppies who were in more limited environments.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So even two puppies from the same litter, same genes, could end up learning at different speeds.
Absolutely. Just because of what they experienced as puppies.
It's like those early experiences actually shape their brains.
They literally do. It affects how flexible their thinking is, how well they adapt.
So this is huge for new puppy owners.
Big time. Those early months are precious.
It's all about providing a rich and stimulating environment.
You got it. It can make a real difference in their learning down the line.
Okay, so early experiences are key.
Oh,
So now let's talk about how we teach them.
yes. This is where things get really interesting.
Does our training approach actually impact how quickly they learn?
Oh, absolutely. This is a big one.
Because a lot of us, myself included, we grew up with those more traditional training methods.
The old school stuff.
Yeah, with the corrections and the punishments.
Right. No. And the bad dog.
But is that actually hurting their learning?
It can, yeah. There's a lot of research showing that.
Really?
Yeah. When training is all about punishment and being harsh, it creates stress for the dog, makes them anxious, even fearful.
And when you're stressed, you can't learn.
Exactly. It's the same for dogs.
Oh, wow.
They actually have a physical reaction to stress that makes it harder for their brains to form new connections.
So a dog who's scared during training
Yeah.
is not going to learn as well.
Nope, they're too busy feeling stressed out.
That makes so much sense. Like when we're stressed, it's hard to focus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't learn if you're in fight or flight mode.
So what's the alternative? How should we be teaching them?
Positive reinforcement. That's the key.
Okay, so reward them when they do something good,
Yes. Treats, praise, toys, even just a good scratch.
because that makes them feel good.
It does. And it releases dopamine in their brains.
Dopamine, that's the happy chemical, right?
Yeah. And it helps strengthen those connections in their brains.
So they remember what they did.
Exactly. It makes learning a positive experience.
They're like, oh, I got that right. Let's do it again.
Yeah. It makes them want to learn.
So is that why those force-free trainers are so successful?
It's a big part of it, yeah. They focus on rewarding the good stuff.
Rather than punishing the bad stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it creates a much better learning environment for the dog.
So for our listeners out there, the takeaway is
Yeah.
positive reinforcement works. It's more effective in the long run.
Way more effective. And it's much kinder to the dog.
Okay, so we've talked about breed, early experiences, training methods. Now, what about their current state? Like their age and their health?
Oh, yeah, that definitely plays a role.
Because dogs' brains change over time, just like ours do.
They do. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
So let's start with puppies.
Okay.
Their brains are developing like crazy.
Super fast. They're little learning machines.
But they're also easily distracted, right?
Totally. They've got short attention spans.
It's like trying to teach a toddler something.
Yeah. They're all over the place.
So you need a lot of patience.
And lots of fun little games to keep them engaged.
What about older dogs? Is it true that you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
Not at all. They can definitely still learn.
Phew. It's good to hear.
But it might take a little longer.
Why is that?
Just like with us, their cognitive function can decline a bit as they age.
Like their memory and stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a natural part of getting older.
Plus they might have some health issues.
Oh, yeah, that's a big factor.
Can you give us some examples?
Sure, imagine a dog with arthritis. They're stiff and sore.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they might be hesitant to sit down.
Not because they don't know the command.
Exactly. It just hurts them to do it.
That makes sense.
Or a dog with hearing loss. They might seem like they're ignoring you.
When really they can't hear you.
Right. And then there are things like thyroid problems that can affect their energy levels and their thinking.
So it's like what looks like a training problem might actually be a health problem.
Absolutely. So it's super important to keep that in mind.
So for our listeners, if your dog seems to be struggling with learning,
Yeah.
always consider their age and any health issues they might have.
It's crucial because sometimes it's not about their intelligence at all.
It's about their well-being.
Exactly. And addressing those issues can make a world of difference.
Okay, so we've really busted some myths about dog intelligence today.
We have. It's so much more complex than we think.
It's not just smart or dumb.
Nope.
It's this whole combination of factors.
Right. Their genes, their experiences, their health, how we teach them.
And earlier you mentioned these newer science-based training approaches.
Oh, yeah, those are super interesting.
Can you tell us a bit more about those?
Sure. So we're starting to move away from those one-size-fits-all methods.
The old school stuff?
Yeah, and we're using what we know about how dogs' brains actually work.
I like that.
There's this thing called brain training for dogs.
Okay, what's that all about?
It's really cool. It's all about mentally stimulating the dog.
So not just basic commands.
No, it's about challenging them, making them think.
Like puzzles and games.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that each dog is an individual.
With their own way of learning.
Yes. And it uses games and exercises to build those brain pathways.
So it's fun for the dog and the owner.
Exactly. It keeps everyone engaged and motivated.
I love that. So what are some of the key ideas behind this kind of training?
Okay, so there's this thing called engagement-based learning.
Okay.
It's all about finding that sweet spot.
Where they're not bored, but not too hyped up.
Yes. They got to be alert and focused.
Then there's something called cognitive priming.
Right. It's like warming up their brains.
With specific exercise.
Exactly. Getting them ready to learn.
And then there's adaptive difficulty.
Yes. So the challenges match the dog's skill level.
So you're not overwhelming them.
Exactly. And you gradually make things harder as they progress.
That's smart. And what about cross-modal training?
Oh, yeah. That's using multiple senses to help them learn.
So like sight, sound, touch.
Exactly. It makes the learning more powerful.
So have people seen real results with these methods?
Oh, yeah. Tons of people, even with dogs who were considered stubborn.
That's amazing. So it's like you're unlocking their true potential.
Absolutely. You're tapping into their natural abilities.
And helping them connect those abilities to the things we want to teach them.
Exactly. It's a win-win for everyone.
So for our listeners, the takeaway here is these science-backed methods really work.
They do. They can help any dog learn more effectively.
It's all about understanding how their brains work.
And finding the best way to communicate with them.
Wow. This deep dive has been incredible.
You know, right?
It's totally changed how I think about dog intelligence.
Me too. It's so fascinating.
So let's recap. A dog's ability to learn is not just one thing.
Nope. It's a whole bunch of things.
Their breed, their experiences, their health, how they're trained.
And their age, too.
Right. We gotta stop with those smart and dumb labels.
Totally. It's way more nuanced than that.
If a dog is struggling to learn something, we need to look deeper.
There's always a reason.
Maybe we're teaching them in a way that doesn't make sense to them.
Exactly. Or maybe there's something else going on.
So next time you see a dog who's not picking things up quickly,
Yeah.
remember this conversation.
Think about all those different factors.
Because what we see as slow learning could actually be something else entirely.
Right. They might be brilliant in ways we don't even understand.
It really makes you wonder.
It does.
That dog who's not learning sit the way we expect.
Yeah.
They might have all these other amazing abilities
Absolutely.
that we haven't even discovered yet.
It's like they're speaking a different language.
And we just haven't learned how to listen.
I love that. It's
Yeah.
a whole new way of seeing them.
It really is. It makes you realize how much we still have to learn about dogs.
Oh, totally. They're full of surprises.
And that's what makes them so incredible.
I couldn't agree more.
So keep those brains working. Keep those tails wagging.
And keep exploring those amazing canine minds.
We'll see you in the next deep dive.